Today, we're going to use this heap of junkyard escapee parts to build this. Let's get into it. Now, before we get started, I want to thank Soundcore for sending over their new Space One headphones. They want you to turn the noise canceling up and the crowd noise down, but since it's just me and Lena, I'm going to turn the music up and build this PC. Now, some of you may remember a video I did where I took a friend's gaming PC and turned it into an almost new build. I decided to keep the CPU and GPU and eventually put them to use. The chip powering this PC is an Intel i5-9400F. This 9th Gen 6-core Wonder Child is nowhere near the worst option for a budget gaming PC, but at this point, I'd probably recommend going with a multi-threaded Ryzen solution. Wanting to keep this build as cheap as possible, I picked up this super inexpensive ASRock motherboard. This might be a regret, but it should be good enough to get us going. Now, despite the obvious headphone plug, this video isn't sponsored, but it was initiated by me remembering that Gamdius had long ago sent over their Talos E3 case. I've built in previous versions of this, but this one has a mesh front panel that should really let the air flow. This isn't a full review, but for less than 70 bucks, this is a solid budget case that looks good and is easy to build in. It comes with 3 fans, but for now, let's take those out and keep going. Everything is going smooth so far, but Lena needed a potty break and I wanted some fresh air to go with my fresh tunes and the headphones. Did I really say that? Leave a comment down below letting me know what your current favorite song of any genre is. Back to the build. It's now time to address the storage. Thanks to my highly unresearched choice of motherboard, I can't use a super cheap 1TB NVMe drive because this motherboard doesn't have a slot for it. So I swapped that out for a super cheap 1TB SATA drive. It's a shame because the price of M.2 drives is pretty much the same as a slower SATA drive, but for gaming, this will be more than enough for a boot drive. Now, the keen-eyed among you saw me install white fans from an old pack of Gamdius fans that I had used previously. The only issue with that is that I have no idea where a particular cable needed to run that kit is, so I had to swap that out for a new pack of Aeolus M3 fans that Gamdius provided for an upcoming case review. It's all good because that brings us to the GPU choice. This Peter Dinklage size card is still the hands down most popular graphics card on the Steam hardware survey, the infamous Lord GTX 1650 of House NVIDIA. I scrapped this from the previous build because for esports titles and low quality AAA gaming, this should be quite adequate. Let's get this installed and we should be done. Looks pretty, right? Well, it doesn't work. In fact, I'm gonna just go ahead and turn this off 1 second. So it's a couple of days later and I put everything together, but you can see there is no post. I thought it was going smoothly, but if I'm looking back at it, there was the storage issue, there was the issue with the fans. Like, this was very haphazardly put together, and I guess the outcome shows the results of that. So to fill you guys in, when you hit the power, All the fans spin up, even the fan on the GPU, but you get no output, no post, or anything. This motherboard does not include any LEDs or beeps or sounds or anything to let me know what the issue could be coming from the motherboard, but I do believe it's the motherboard itself. Now, before I get to that, I did do some troubleshooting, just some basic steps that I would do in any PC build when it does not post. First and foremost, I made sure that I was plugged into the right graphics card. The Intel 9400F does not have any integrated graphics, so you must be plugged into an external GPU. I reseated my RAM, that did nothing. Then I thought about switching out my graphics card. I put in an old 2080 Super that I knew was working, and I still got no graphics output. Just to be certain, when I took these parts out of their original case, the CPU and the GPU did in fact work. There was no issue with them whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure those two pieces still work. I believe the issue may be this cheap ASRock motherboard that I picked up. Not so much that it's cheap, but this board was initially released for 8th gen CPUs. This is a 9th gen. They updated it, but I'm sure that it's probably something I still need to update in the BIOS to make it compatible with 9th gen CPUs like the Intel 9400F. Just to be certain, I ordered a used B365 motherboard off of eBay. That should be here in a few days. I'll swap them out. I'm really thinking that it might just be this motherboard. I have no way to update the BIOS on here to make sure it's compatible with 9th gen processors. So we're just gonna go with that for now. This is a part one. I usually don't like to do parts to my videos because a lot of times once you label something a part one, a part two never actually comes, but I promise you're gonna get a part two on this. There's gonna be a lot happening for me over the next few months. So if the videos are even more sporadic than before, please bear with me. Just do me a favor, man. If you ever do come across a video, leave a comment, hit the like and the subscribe. I want to give a big thanks to Gamdius for sending over this case. I actually really like it. I think for the price, it looks good. It's easy to build in. Also want to give a big shout out to Soundcore for sending over those headphones. I didn't get a chance to do a proper review, but for $99, it's a lot going on, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. It's your kinfolk. Rest in peace, Jehovah.